computer science is not an easy major. It will be hard, and it might have you questioning, can I really do this? Should I really keep studying computer science? I'm gonna tell you guys the 10 things that I wish I knew before studying computer science. So as a now rising senior in college studying computer science, I feel like I've gained a lot of knowledge about how studying computer science works, what it's like, what things helped me, what things did not help me. And so I wanted to extend that knowledge to you guys if you're somebody thinking about studying computer science or transferring into the major, or if you're my age and you're a senior and you're like, I need some advice for the last year of studying computer science, because it can be hard. It can be hard for sure. So hopefully you guys find this video helpful. Let's get right into it. So the first thing that you need to know if you're gonna be studying computer science is to never, and I mean never start assignments or projects or programming assignments or whatever late. Do not wait till the last day to do these assignments, even if they seem like they're gonna be really easy. Make it a habit to just start early, because there are gonna be some assignments that you might think are easy, or you might think, oh, I could do this in a day. I was able to do it in the last class that I took. That they're gonna take a long time, especially if a professor assigns a project that is due in several weeks or in a week or whatever. So my advice to you guys would be the very first day that you get a project or an assignment or anything like that, go into the project, look at the prompt, and make sure you understand it. Like the very first day or the very next day, but not any later than that. Look over the prompt, make sure you understand everything. If you have questions about it, then you go to office hours, ask the professor, ask the TA, ask your friends or whatever, and try to understand it, because it is so much better to have to go through this process early than you start the project like a day before it's due, and then you have a question about the wording of the prompt or about what it even means. And at that point, it's going to be too confusing. It's going to be too hard to finish the project and get a good grade on it. Yeah, never start any assignment late. All right, so the second thing is to go to office hours. So you've probably heard this before. If you're already studying computer science, then you already know this, or at least somebody has told you this before. And there's different structures of office hours, so depending on the structure that your professor or TAs kind of choose, then you might want to change your approach a little bit on how you go to office hours. If there's office hours that are just open, you can kind of walk into the room or join the Zoom meeting and just kind of be there and do your homework, definitely do that. Then if you're doing your homework and you have a little bit of an issue, or you don't understand something, or you have a question, then you could easily just ask the professor right there. Sometimes some professors might have their office hours in a one-on-one type of format. In those cases, it is a little bit harder because you do have to have a question ready. They usually do that if there's a lot of people needing office hours and needing one-on-one help. In those cases, just go when you can. Honestly, just be friends with your professors, especially if they're a good professor, because they'll teach you whatever you want to know, pretty much. They're there to teach, and most of them like to teach, and they like students who like to learn. Okay, so the third thing that I wish I took more of an initiative to do when I first started studying computer science is befriending the other people in my classes. It is better to suffer together than to suffer alone. But it's really helpful to have other people that you can go to, that you can form a study group with. When it comes to classes that are a little bit harder, or that I don't understand, or where it's hard to go to office hours or get the TA or the professor's attention or help, it's so helpful to just easily ask my friends. And great ways to do this is make Discord servers. I know I did that. Part of my college experience was online, and so we kind of had to rely on Discord and GroupMe and stuff like that. But do whatever you can to make friends and stick with them, because most of these people, you're going to be in the same class as them for all 4 years of college, basically. And when you're choosing these friends, I definitely would advise you guys, be friends with someone who is less knowledgeable on the subject matter of the class and somebody who is more knowledgeable, because then you're able to explain what you're learning. And when you explain what you're learning, that means you've really learned it. And it's good to just help other people out in general. So it's good to be friends with those people who may not be as knowledgeable as you in that specific subject. And it's also good to be friends with people who are more knowledgeable than you because they'll push you to be better. That's kind of the advice that I would give with that. Make sure you befriend people in classes. And it also helps with the social aspect of studying computer science as well, because computer science is not really a social major, I would say. So it's great if you're able to make friends. And that leads me to my next point. Number 4 is do not compare yourself to your classmates. So this is actually a very important thing that I did know. Like, going into college, I was like, okay, I shouldn't be comparing myself to other people. Like, we're on our own paths. But it was much harder than I thought it would be, specifically with studying computer science. There are going to be some interesting people in your classes. There are going to be people who have been coding since they came out of the womb. There's also going to be people who maybe don't even understand Hello World. So there's going to be all sorts of people in your classes. And so it's much better to just not compare yourself to other people. You should really just focus on being better than yourself an hour ago, or a day ago, a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. You shouldn't be focused on, oh, I'm going to be better than this person, or this person got this grade. Oh, this person is the super smart person in the class, I need to catch up to them, or oh, I'll never be like them. Like, no, it doesn't even matter if you're like them or not like them or whatever. What matters is that you're there to learn. You're in school, in college, to learn, not compete. If you want to compete, then do a hackathon. Then you can compare yourself all you want. And that leads me to my next point, which is to have the mindset where you want to learn and not perform. In school, a lot of times it is very tempting to be focused on your grades. Even though it's tempting to really focus on the grades that you're getting, I don't think that's really what you should be focused on in college. Of course, grades they're supposed to reflect how you actually are learning and how much you do learn in the class. But the thing is that sometimes these professors, the way they be grading, it is not a reflection of anything. So it's a better idea to have a mindset where you want to learn and not necessarily just get a good grade. Of course, good grades are great. Go after that A, you could do it. Go after that B, go after that C. But in the end, your grade should actually reflect how much you're willing to just learn the subject and really learn it, truly understanding how it works and how it can be applied outside of school. There are going to be some classes that you like and some classes that you really do not like or that you hate. But even if you hate one of the classes, it doesn't mean that you hate computer science as a whole. Computer science is a very broad topic, especially now in this age of technology where technology is blowing up everywhere and expanding like crazy. Computer science, honestly, it's like saying, oh, I'm studying art. Like, okay, well, what kind of art are you studying? Computer science is similar, where it is a very broad subject. So you could take a web development class and absolutely love it. And then the next semester, you might take an operating systems class and say, oh my gosh, that was the worst thing that I've ever taken. Of course, like, they're related. They're all under the umbrella of computer science and stuff like that. But when it actually comes to working in a job, you're not necessarily going to be doing web development and operating system work at the same time. Like, especially the preliminary classes, if you are not really liking them that much, then don't worry. If you still want to study computer science, you can. It's gonna be different in other classes because, again, there's web development, operating systems, software engineering, artificial intelligence, systems programming, and the list goes on and on and on. Also, I do want to point out, your professor can really influence how much you like a class, and even sometimes how much you like computer science as a whole. That's also something to just pay attention to, because sometimes your professor might make you feel like, oh, I hate computer science, I don't want to study this anymore. But then you take another class another time with a different professor and you're like, wait, this is the best thing ever. It's so cool, so interesting. Or maybe another time you take another professor and you're like, okay, this is boring, it's too easy. There's so many outcomes that can come just from your professor. And so you always, again, going back to that learning mindset, you should always try and just have a mindset where you want to learn the subject and really figure out if you like it, as opposed to just kind of going by, oh, the class structure, how it's taught, and stuff like that. The next thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that it will be hard. Studying computer science is not an easy major to go into, unless, of course, you've been developing software since the age of 5, you're probably gonna have some classes that are pretty difficult. And I know that a lot of people, they ask me, oh, what are you studying in college? I say, oh, I'm studying computer science. And they're like, oh, you must be really smart. And of course, like, yeah, I guess I'm smart, but that's not why I'm able to study computer science. Because the thing about computer science, it doesn't take just being intelligent or knowing everything already and being able to work a computer and do all these technical things. I mean, you might want to know how to work a computer, but the main thing about computer science is just that it takes a lot of hard work. And that's when you know if you're able to continue doing it. It has nothing to do with even how well you do in the classes the first time. Like, you might fail a class. I've been in many circumstances where I thought I was going to fail a class and I was like, okay, why am I even in this major? The reason why I was in these situations where I thought I was going to fail wasn't because I wasn't smart enough or intelligent enough to take the class. It was just because computer science takes another level of hard work, and especially at certain schools and stuff like that, sometimes the professors are not very good, sometimes the way the class is structured is not very good, and a lot of times that can really make it difficult to do well in these classes. But again, going back to the learning mindset, if you're really there to learn, that will help you do well in the class. So just remember that studying computer science can be very difficult, and that's okay. The next thing that I wanted to hit is you don't have to know what you want to do. As I said before, computer science is very broad. It's a very broad topic. And so there's so many ways you can go. So if somebody asks you, what are you planning to do with that after college? Are you going to be a software engineer, web developer, game developer? It's okay if you don't know what you want to do yet. I would just encourage you to take as many electives as you can to see what you're really passionate about. And then you can also do internships, which if you want to learn more about how to get an internship during college, definitely let me know. I would love to make a video about that. I've done 2 internships so far and they both were amazing. I would definitely recommend going after those opportunities that you can to just learn more. You might find something that you like in college, and even after college it'll be okay too, because you might get a job as a software engineer and then discover that, oh, actually you're very passionate about creating video games, and then you switch into that. And even after that, there's still opportunities to learn. That's why computer science is such a cool major, because you never stop learning even after you're out of school. And so that kind of leads me into my next point, which is, unless computer science is the only thing you want to do with your life, if all you want to do is coding, then great, go ahead. But if that's not the case, take other classes. You're only going to be in college for so long. It's such a short period of time in your life, and you're paying tuition anyway, so you might as well take all these other classes that you can learn even more, whether it's computer science related or not. Whether that's another engineering class, I don't know why you would do that to yourself, but you can if that's something you're interested in. Or taking an art class or a history class or anything like that. For example, I took a swing dancing class last semester and it was so fun. It was a nice little break from the sitting at my computer typing for 8 hours. And it was a really fun time. I made some really cool friends because the people in those classes are not computer science majors. And so it was cool because I got to meet people from other areas of the school. It was just a great experience and I would highly recommend it. And in addition to that, get involved, like at school, join clubs. Even if it is CS related, like join the artificial intelligence club, join a game dev club, join a robotics club. Just try to do more things to figure out what you really want to do, even just like in your free time or hobbies, like really dive into that. But especially taking classes in those things as well so you can actually learn about them. Okay, so my last tip for you guys is you can always switch majors. Like, you can always start studying out computer science and end studying graphic design, for example. Like, if you hate it, don't do it. I know our parents do have a big say in some of our lives on what we study and stuff like that. So if you're able, then sure, you don't have to keep going at it if it's just gonna end with you being miserable. If you're being lazy though, that's a different story. If you're not working hard enough, different story. If you think you're not smart enough, different story. And I already talked about all those different things. I know earlier I said, like, give the classes a chance. If you don't like the class, it doesn't mean you don't like the major. But if you're consistently finding yourself not liking the classes, don't take them. Like, just switch majors into something else. Also, if you're still passionate about computer science and don't like the college setting, there's so many ways to learn the different topics and subjects within computer science outside of college. For example, there's boot camps, you can be self-taught. For me personally, I really like the college setting. I think it's very structured and helpful for me personally, but honestly, like, you do you. Do what works best for you. And there's also a lot of videos on YouTube showing you how you can learn computer science yourself outside of college. So definitely go check those videos out. But yeah. Okay, so that's the end of the video for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, then you're awesome, goated, and I love you. Comment down below if any of these were helpful, or if there's any other tips that you think I missed, or things that you think that I should know before going to my senior year of studying computer science. Thank you again for watching. Make sure to like the video if it was helpful in any way. Share it with anyone you think might need this video or find it helpful. And make sure to subscribe if you want to see more from me in the future. But yeah, thank you again, and we out.